I've always been someone who has loved children, and up until recent years, I was actually really good with them and was working with them. That's why I was planning a business to help children and animals with trauma. You wouldn't believe who I was based on who I am now. That's okay. I don't care what people think. It's my story and I'm telling it. And when I was in China, even though I hated living there, I loved it, but I hated it. And one of the things I loved most about it was my students. I just loved them. I loved my students so much. I loved helping them. I loved having fun with them. I loved seeing them progress. I loved seeing the shy, scared ones build their confidence. I loved I loved the ones who came in with attitudes, hating English, leaving loving it. You know what I mean? I just loved it, and they loved me. We had fun. It was good, and it made me think when I came back to Australia that I wanted to be a teacher. Till I came back and got a reality check. What? But when I did come back, I was studying early childhood education, and I was working in childcare, like before and after school care and like holiday care and stuff, just doing casual work around at different centers and stuff. And immediately, whenever I'd go somewhere new, I'd always just be able to see. It was like a Where's Wally? There it is. There it is. You know, I'd always just notice the kid who was being abused at home. And it's quite often the ones who were angry with attitudes, who people were struggling to tolerate. And, you know, they'd be off in the corner alone. And I'd chat to them like, what's going on, mate? And build that trust with them. And, you know, you find out some pretty fucked up stuff. And you can't do anything. And it's like, I to this day am not able to forgive myself. In one of the centers, there was this little girl named Nori, and she was about 8, and her parents had separated, and her and her little brother, he was about 4, he was in kindy. And I used to do the kindy drop-off, so he was beautiful, but for some reason, they couldn't live together, the brother and sister and at the center they had to be separated. They seemed to get on fine, but I think that's because they had the boundaries in place and everyone knew what was going on. And they would rotate, you know, this one with this parent this week, that one with that parent, and then they'd swap. And Nori had been seeing a therapist for a while, I think like a year or something. And because she had been soiling herself, and they wanted to get to the bottom of it. And for me, that's already a no-brainer. Like, but you you can't assume because there could be a lot of things going on. But for me, it was a no-brainer because it didn't take long for me to recognize that they had this, because it would be the mom or the dad or someone picking them up. But quite often, one of the father lived with a man named Bo, and sometimes Bo would pick Nori up. And I started noticing the patterns. On the weeks that she was staying at her dad's were the weeks that she would really be shitting herself more than usual. And any time that Bo was coming to pick her up, she would shit herself right before he was due to get there. And when I told my manager, I was told that I shouldn't be judging or assuming, because that's quite serious, and she's with a therapist, so, basically stay in my lane. And I was like, you need to get someone to talk to about, like, mention it to the parents so that it can, be tossed around in therapy. No, 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 not our, wait for it, not our department, right? Not our job, not our. I've never, I've never been able to forgive myself. I was working that job in 2018, and I still think about it almost daily. Like, I'm so sorry that I allowed our bullshit system and rules of the not my department to stop me being a human. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. There are so many Noris out there being ignored, slipping through the cracks, having blind eyes turned because people don't want to ruffle feathers, or it's just not their fucking job. And there are days where I'm like, I can't do this. I need to find a cave and just lay down. And I see her face. And I say her name. And that's my reminder that I have a purpose. I have a purpose. It's why I was starting the business that I was. That was going to be a very beautiful business. Traumatized, abused animals and children working together, healing together, building trust and confidence, rewiring those pathways together. And it's like I lost the ability to dream. But I tell you what, it honestly doesn't take much for someone like me to get back up again. And I feel that this is my time to really figure out my purpose so that I want to be alive for real. And when I want to be alive for real, I will be able to give everything I have. It's so surreal. It's like I'm in this transition from isolation to solitude, and there's a massive difference because all the time I've been out here, I haven't been able to appreciate what I have. And while I'm out here still with no heat, still vomiting, still on my knees daily, still losing my brain, still having panic attacks, there's this feeling I don't know what it is. But I am ready to embrace it.